Hey NFL fans, if you plan on betting on NFL games this year, or if you do fantasy football or daily fantasy football, then you should definitely at least be aware of how biorhythms might affect the outcome of each player and ultimately each team on a given week. I have just released an app that does all of the busy work for an entire season when it comes to biorhythms, specifically the 2023 NFL season. And it costs $5.99 and it is currently only available for iPhone users. In the remainder of this video, I will explain the theory of biorhythms and show how they can be used for fantasy football. I will show all the specific uses that this app has, from betting on games to making a prop bet on a player or two in a given game, to comparing two players in a given week for fantasy, to helping the user manage his fantasy football and daily fantasy lineups. The theory of biorhythms says that people tend to have good days versus bad days because of three physiological cycles that everyone follows. The physical cycle, which lasts 23 days, the emotional cycle, which lasts 28 days, and the intellectual cycle, which lasts 33 days. Currently, in all the medical schools in the US, biorhythms are mentioned in the medical school textbooks and said to have a medium to medium-low correlation to how a person actually performs on any given day. Furthermore, biorhythms tended to be either accurate or non-predictive at all from a person-to-person basis. This has to do with both an individual's specific hormone fluctuations compared to the mean over time, as well as the external factors that the public isn't aware of for each factor, like cocaine or steroids. These things can totally throw a monkey wrench in the data without us ever knowing it. This app makes everything so much simpler. Before I created this app, whenever I wanted to research a single player for a single game, it was a gigantic pain in the ass. And I was often having to look up 10 to 15 players each week. And it got to the point where, since my bets were pretty small and the hassle was pretty great, I just kind of ignored biorhythms when it came to betting on individual football games. And it really kind of bummed me out because I knew that I should be using biorhythms, but it's just that the data was all spread out and super hard to assimilate, basically. Oh, it should also be mentioned that Vegas almost certainly includes biorhythms in their supercomputer calculations for determining what the spread is in each game. And for only $5.99, now the average person can have all the data at their fingertips, whether they decide to use it or not. This app is often used as a way to double check a person's fantasy prediction decisions or betting on game decisions. So they will double check the biorhythms just to make sure that the team they're betting on winning isn't, totally screwed over as far as biorhythms go. Okay, so here is my app, and the reason for making this app: to give the user the entire biorhythm data within a click or two, so he doesn't have to physically look up the data and calculate the three values for each player many times a week. It is available for iPhone users. In the marketplace, search for NFL Biorhythm Tool and purchase the app and have the entire season's data at your fingertips for only $5.99. And if you order in August, you'll get the 2023 playoff add-on package for free. And I put all of the data into one useful app. This app saves you hours and hours and hours that you would normally spend looking up the individual player's data all by yourself. And for the first time ever, you can see all the biorhythm data for the NFL for a given week with only a couple clicks on the screen, without having to look up anything or take a long time to look up any data at all. And Wow. I mean, in my opinion, it's a total game changer. I'm definitely going to be using it myself. Man, I know all the scientists out there, anybody who bets on games seriously, already knows about fantasy football, or already knows about biorhythms. And for you guys, this is going to save you so much time. And for the majority of people out there who are like, oh, I don't even know what biorhythms are, well, these are biorhythms. And it can kind of accurately predict whether somebody's going to have a really good day or a really bad day in three regards: physical, emotional, and intellectual.